everybody, it's Pam from Nana's Crafting Cottage, here with you again with another fun project. Welcome to all my new subscribers and welcome back to everyone who's been with me. I am glad that you're here. Pardon me. Today we are going to play with a paint chip. You've seen them, Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever your home store, whatever your home stores are. Sorry, I can't even think. Okay, this one was this wide, and I cut it in half. And then I cut the little numbers and stuff off because I didn't really like that being on there. And I learned this from Pam at Glam Junk Journals. And I thought, I've got these paint chips, and I didn't know what to do with them. I knew I could do something, but I hadn't thought of anything, of course. So I thought I'd try this. This one I put together and I used vintage pattern paper. You know the kind. It has all the markings and everything on there to cut out your outfits. And I just took it and I just crumpled it up. And I used my antique Mod Podge, the matte. And yeah, so I thought, well, I'll just go ahead and give this a try. Well, I love it. I love it. You can use it as a bookmark, as a tag. It's going to go into my autumn junk journal, which, by the way, I wanted to, let me move all this stuff, share with you what I've gotten done on it so far before we get started. Here is the cover. This is holding this piece here. So here is the cover, and here's one of my dolls that I decorated. I thought that was really, came out cute. And here's another page that I did. And I added this from my stash. This is what my sister sent me a long time ago, that she made a cluster, fabric cluster with a button. And I made this tag kind of the same way as this. I was messing around with it. I used a napkin, which I have another piece of that same napkin here that we're going to use. And we're going to use this guy right here. And I had these that I fussy cut from my porch prints. And these are from 49 Dragonflies, these sentiments. This trim I got from Dollar Tree a long time ago. And here is some coffee dyed cheesecloth that I've had in my stash for quite a while. So yeah, I really like how that came out, real rustic, vintage. And I backed it with some coffee dyed paper. And that's what I backed this with too, was some coffee dyed paper that I had gotten from Etsy. Okay, so I'll put him back in there. But I've just kind of laid out what I want to put in here. This piece I made, a year or two ago. So yeah, these are all items that I've made that I'm just kind of placing in here for now. This is a pocket, and here's going to be another pocket here with this bag. I just got those bags off of Amazon. So yeah, and this is Mamagami paper that I put in here to play with. Yeah, I've had this rice paper in my stash for like forever. It's a great big piece. And I've been hoarding it. So I thought, well, with these birds here, I'm going to go ahead and cut this section out and use it. And this is from my wildflower book. So that's what I've got in there so far. Not all the way, but that's what I'm doing. And yeah, that's kind of, it'll be a chunky one, I'm sure. And I'm debating whether to put signatures in here. I don't know if I want to do that or not, because then it'll really get bulked up. So we'll see. We'll see when we get that point. Okay, so what I did to prep this piece, was I took my Fabrifix, or if you have Fabri-Tac, 3-in-1 glue, and I did a bead on the dividing areas here, the white areas, and I put 2 layers on and let it dry real good. What I want it to look like is the edge of an old book binding on the outside. You know how some of those old books have the ridges in them, and then they have the name of the book in gold and that. Well, I wanted it to kind of resemble that because I liked what she did with that. And then I put this napkin piece on here of this owl. I thought he was pretty cool looking. And he's the other direction of this napkin. This napkin has several on it, and each one, their direction is different. So this is the one here that we're going to use today. I thought he would look really cute on there. So let's get started. What I need to do first is get the Mod Podge on and get my tissue put on here. And I have enough for 2 layers. So let me grab my brush that I had forgotten to grab. All right. Okay, here we go. I just got this brush, and I got a big set of these in a tall plastic container from Ross, of all places. I like to go to that store because I found so many things there for next to nothing. I mean, compared to buying them in a regular art store or like a Michael's or Joann's or whatever. So much cheaper. Okay. So the first one, I had forgotten where I put my Mod Podge. It was right there in front of me, but I grabbed the collage medium instead, and it took forever to dry. So I know that Mod Podge is fast drying, so I'm just going to use it this time. So whatever you have, I have matte because I don't like the glossy look on my projects. I do have the glossy in my stash that I've had for a long time, but I tend to use my matte Mod Podge instead. And I love this antique one. This antique one, I didn't even know that it existed until my husband and I went to Ace Hardware one day. Oh, last year or a couple years ago. And there it was sitting on their shelf with all their, glues and things like that. And I was like, I had no idea that it was in that color. So I let my sister know what I found, the Crafting Auntie. I let her know what I had found, and she had no idea that they made that color either. Okay, now I got to get this pressed down here and get it pushed into the little crevices here for the ridges. But yeah, so I love using this stuff. It leaves a nice color. Plus on the sample one I did, I also distressed over it and put Mod Podge over the top of that, and then put my gilding wax in bronze. That's what the shiny edges are about in these creases. I just kind of went over it with some on my finger. Okay, so got that pressed down good around the ridges there and here. Okay, And I'm not going to wait for that coat to dry. I'm just going to go right over it. And that seems to work just fine. So I'll do that. So I hope everyone's having a good day. This is going to be out on Tuesday. This is a Sunday morning. And I thought, well, I'll get this done early before we go to church, because Sundays are a down day for us. We go to church, we grab some lunch, and we come home, and then we just veg. That is our one designated day of rest. Okay, so there's that. Now what I'm going to do is just double this over and press it into the creases for the ridges there. I don't know why I keep calling it creases. Okay, and then anything over the edges I'm going to trim off when it's dry. So you don't have to worry about that. And I am going to go over this again to seal it down. So just do the best you can. You know, if you have parchment paper, baking paper, or these vintage pattern clothing patterns, anything like that would work. I have all that, and I have a big stack of clothing patterns, so I thought, well, I'll go ahead and use that. That'd be a good excuse to work on that stash. I've had them for quite a while, and I thought this would be the perfect time to give this a go. So we'll get this going and let it dry. And while it's working on drying, then I will get the napkin ready. I have pulled the layers off, but I need to get my little owl, piece of owl that I want to use, ready to be put on. And just kind of seal this up real good. And I'll be going over it again. Stick that in there for now when I put my napkin piece on there. So let's set this aside, and let's see, I'll go ahead and put that there, and we'll get our napkin piece ready. So you want to take all your layers off till it looks like it's the napkin on the back. I mean, real thin. Okay. And then what I do is I just take a brush. I'm just going to use my water brush and just put this water in here. And I'm going to use this fellow right here. So you just draw around where you would like to tear it. And this makes it much easier to tear. And I'm just going to follow this line here. Right there. And then you just take it and you tear it. And it should tear where you have put your water, which it is. There you go. And I still have these guys to use. So I will put them right there with the others. Okay, now I'm just using this as a guide because The other one is drying. So I'll put him right on the edge of the other one, and then I'll just cut the rest of it off when it's all said and done. And that's pretty much what I did with this fellow here. I just trimmed it here and here, and then I took my Tim Holtz sanding disc and just went along the edge, and then re-distressed, re-inked it, and then I put the gilding wax on when it was all said and done. So I'm going to go check my piece, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. I just put my dryer here to it and finished it up. And so we're ready to put our little guy on here. So again, with the Mod Podge, and let me get my brush kind of dried out here. Okay. And we will put some on where he will go, which is right about in there. And put it on pretty good. And if there's any edges or anything like that that you see that need more Mod Podge, then go ahead and do that. Okay, now let's lay him on. And I want to get him right to the edge over here, kind of equally. And you just tap him on. And get to the ridges. And just tap it on. There we go. And then go over it. I haven't done this for quite a while, and I learned it from my sister when I went to visit her one time. And we used, I think it was a nut container, and we decoupaged it. Well, I'd never decoupaged before. This has been several years back. That was so much fun, and we put pretty tissue paper on the container. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Okay. There we go. All right. I'm just going to put my brush here because it's not going to be very long, and I'll be doing the entire thing again. So let's bring this up off of the backing there. I'll just dry this in front of you guys because it's not going to be very long. And I like the texture of it. It feels kind of plasticky, or I don't know, different. Okay. Let me see how that is. Yeah, it's dry. This stuff dries really fast. Really fast. Not that it really needs to, because I'm going to put another layer over it. Am I? I probably don't need to. Okay, what I do need to do is I need to get it backed, and let me get my chipboard. Hold on. Okay, I went ahead and got some more coffee dyed paper out. I got this because it has kind of oranges and yellows and greens in it. And I do get this off of Etsy, Pink Willow paper. So she's a good place to get that. Okay, so I have my chipboard here, and I'm going to go ahead and glue this on. And I think I will use my tacky glue for this. That's what I used on the other one. And it does dry clear, but even if it goes over the edges, it'll be getting cut off anyway, so trimmed up. So yeah, this is a fun project. They have different shapes of paint chips also. Different places. There's some that are kind of house shape almost. But yeah, you can use those as tags or what have you, and they're free. You just grab a bunch. That's what I did. I just grabbed a bunch that I wanted and in the colorings, and okay, so do that. Let that set for just a second. And yeah, so we'll go ahead and cut that off. And I think what I'll do is use my blade for, let's see if it'll work on the paper alone. Yeah, pretty well. Good. Good, good. Now I can see it better. Okay. I think I'll do it on the end here too. Here we are. Okay, let's get those out of the way. And that. Okay, and then we'll cut this out. And then I can see if I need to glue anywhere else. Okay, there's some good scraps of chipboard here. I'll get rid of this. Okay, and so we have this much. All right. Now, what we need to do is get it backed onto our copy dyed paper. So I got to get the front upside down, and I am going to use my tacky glue for this again. If it was just regular paper to paper, then I would use my art glitter glue, but because this is heavier material, I want something a bit thicker. Okay, get it put on real good, especially on the edges. And I'm going to get my spreader out here. Oops, crowded. Okay, and I go right to the edge with it. That way I don't have to cut but just a couple edges. Okay, press real good. Turn it over. Oops. Well, let me get the other one out. I'm not going to the floor for it. Okay. Here. And here. Okay. Put that away before I drop it too. Gonna be a dropsy day, I guess. All right. There we go. Now I'm going to use my blade because it's way easier. I never used to use a blade until I started watching Angela Kerr Designs, and she mainly uses a blade for everything, and I thought, oh, I really like that. It's a lot easier, and it is. It gets a closer cut in the whole thing. So if there's any kind of gluing to do on the edges, I'm going to do that now. Like little corners. Do that. And okay. Now what I need to do is ink it up. So I am going to use my Distress Oxide Vintage Photo, and I have my rounded sponge on here that I love. Love, love, love. And I'm going to distress it really good. And here. All right. And as you know, if you've been following me for any length of time, you know I love grungy. So that is what we are doing. Okay. There it is so far. Isn't that cool? It just comes out so neat. Okay. And I just thought, well, this is such a different project, and so that's why I wanted to share it with you. Okay, now I thought I had my leather out. Okay, let me find my leather piece, and I'll be right back. Okay, got my leather piece, got my eyelet here for the top, but what I want to do first is do my gilding wax. So let's get this back over here so I don't make a mess all over the place, because that's easy to do. And this gilding wax, it's by Art Alchemy Metallic Wax. And I have had this for at least a few years. I mainly use gold, but I still have tons of gold left. But I thought it would be kind of cool to use bronze, being this is going into a fall journal. And I just go along the edges. Just follow it along. And get a little bit more on there. Okay. And even if it blobs a little bit here and there, that's okay. Okay. Now let's do the ribs. See, isn't that cool? I just love it. I just love it. Now, Pam from Glam Junk Journal, she glams things up. I'm not a glam person, but you can do anything with these. Okay. Yeah, I got it on there. That's so cool. All right. Get the rest off my finger here so I don't spread it all over. And it stuff smells so good. It's kind of perfumey. I don't know why, but it is. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and dry this a bit, and that way I can get my topper on and then let you guys go. Oh, I want to distress the back too, but that's okay. I can still do that. I love this dryer. It's the Heat It Craft Tool by Ranger, and I just love it. So this has several steps to it, but the outcome is amazing. And I didn't know if I wanted to put something, word or a label or something, and nothing sent me. I guess is what I want to call it. Nothing turned me on or got me excited about putting it on there. I just wanted to keep it as it was. And so it's still a little bit wet, but I think this part. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and go with it because it's going to be dry shortly. It's pretty fast drying. So I figured out a way to get this put on easier than just putting it on and doing the hole and then, yeah. So got my tool out here. And I'm going to use the large hole, which is over here, and center it as best I can. Okay. So I did that. And then what I did was I marked where I wanted the hole to be so that I knew for a fact it was going to be in the right place. Hopefully centering it. Okay, and then I went in and went to that circle, punched, and then what I did was I took my glue, and this made it so much easier because I was always slipping around and then it would end up being crooked and you can't straighten it up. Once it's there, it's there. And I decided to glue this baby on with my art glitter glue. And it was much less frustrating. Much less frustrating. Okay, and then glue the other side. Oh, I want to ink that up first. So let me do that right now. Get underneath there. Oops. Well, of course, naturally. Well, I'll try it again. I should have thought of this beforehand. But, you know me, I get excited and in a hurry. And I really don't have to do this. I just like to know that it's been done. I just feel like it's not finished properly if it hasn't been done, and I can tell it's been done. So Yeah, that makes me happy. Okay, let's try this again. Wowzers. I'm hoping that other people have this issue of like, oh, oops, I got to do something first, and then, yeah, it falls apart. Okay. There. Got it off kilter here. There we go. All right. Now let's try this again. And then put some glue there. And it doesn't impede what's going on with the eyelet. The eyelet goes in just fine. There's nothing to keep it from going in, so that makes me happy. Okay, that go like that. All right, and as soon as it has a grab, then I put this in, holding it on the back, and then I squish. And it's not dead center, but it's straight at least. So that's what I did on the other one. And yeah, I was ecstatic because a lot of times it goes this way or that way and I'm unhappy with it. So that is our project for today. Cute, cute, cute. So I hope you guys give this a try. Go get some of those paint chips and start playing with them. I love this idea. And yeah, so I will see you on the next video. I'll have another cute project that I just learned to go in my junk journal, in my autumn journal, fall, whatever you want to call it, right there. So you guys have a good rest of your day, and I will see you the next time. Bye, guys.